to watch the reruns. And, used to watch Andy Griffith every evening when I would come home from school. They'd play the reruns on there. And one of the things I loved about that show, of course, you have all of your characters in the show. Andy Taylor, the sheriff of the town that the show centers around. And all of his cast of friends there, Barney Fife and Otis and his boy Opie. And who was the lady that cared for Opie? Aunt Bee is how they say it, Mayberry. Aunt Bee. But Aunt Bee was not the lady that was taking care of Opie when the first pilot episode was released. We're going to do a little TV trivia. Can anybody remember the name of the first lady that was taking care of Opie? Rose. Who said that? Right there. Oh, awesome, man. You win this beautiful stack of sound equipment. Just see us afterwards here this afternoon. Rose. And Rose was this young, energetic, outgoing, popular lady that everybody in town loved. And Opie thought he was the man walking around town holding hands with Rose. He's like, yeah, I'm hanging out with Rose here today, everybody. In the first pilot episode, Rose goes to Andy and says, Andy, I can't take care of Opie anymore. I'm getting married, and I'm moving out of town. And so Andy had to get into his black book and look for a name. Someone that could take care of Opie. When he comes across the name of Aunt Bee. Now, Aunt Bee was the polar opposite of Rose. She was not a young and athletic and cool lady for him to hang out with. She was more of a grandmother figure for Opie. And when Opie first found out what was going on, he was not happy about this. Paul, I loved Rose. We hung out together. We did all kinds of stuff. I don't even know this lady. And Andy says to his son, now son, you just hang in there. Now Aunt Bee is coming down here, and you're all going to have a good time. And Aunt Bee could sense the tension there. And so Andy says to Aunt Bee, now Aunt Bee, now don't you fret none. Now old little Opie, he loves him some chicken and taters. You fix that boy chicken and taters, he's going to fall in love with you, I promise. So Aunt Bee, as soon as she gets there, goes to work on a chicken and taters dinner for little Opie. But when dinner time came, Opie sat at the table and just picked at the pile of potatoes with his fork. And his father said, son, what's wrong? You love chicken and taters. And he said, it's in the way Rose used to make it. I want Rose back. He walked off. Well, Aunt Bee was heartbroken. But Andy says to her, now Aunt Bee, now don't you fret now. Now little Opie, he loves him some baseball. You take him out in the yard tomorrow and play baseball with him, he's going to fall in love with you, I promise. So they go out into the yard the next day to play baseball, but Aunt Bee had never played baseball. So she grabs the barrel of the bat and starts swinging the handle at Opie. Opie says, Paul, look, she don't know how to bat. Rose was a great ball player. I want Rose back. He dropped the ball and walked away. Now by this time, Aunt Bee was ready to cry. But Andy says to her, now Aunt Bee, now don't you fret now. Now Opie, he loves him some fishing. You take that boy fishing, he's going to fall in love with you, I promise. So the three of them go out on a little fishing trip the next day. And they cast their lines, and who inevitably catches the first fish? Aunt Bee. The only problem was she had never been fishing, and when the fish came up out of the water flapping around, she screams, throws the fish, the rod, and everything, and takes off running. Opie says, Paul, Rose was a great fisherman. She knew how to fish. And what was Aunt Bee doing? I want Rose back. So they go to commercial, and they come back 30 seconds later, or 60 seconds later, like most TV shows in that time. And the thing we see first is little Opie in his bed. And the camera pans to his bedroom window down into the street where Andy is putting Aunt Bee's things on the back of the pickup truck. Aunt Bee goes to get in the truck, and Andy closes the door and turns on the truck, and when the engine fires up, Opie awakes from sleep, hearing the truck, looks out the window, and becomes frantic. He runs out of his room down the hall, out the front door, yelling to his dad, Paul, where are you going, Paul? Andy gets out of the truck and says, well, my son, it ain't working out with Aunt Bee. I'm fixing to take her back up to Mount Pillier where she come from. Opie says to his father, Paul, you can't take her back. Paul, she don't know how to cook. She don't know how to play ball. Paul, she don't even know how to fish. You can't take her back. She needs me. And he runs over and throws his arms around Aunt Bee. And the rest, of course, is television history. The irony is, it was really little Opie that needed Aunt Bee. Folks, today, there are children in this world that need you. Have you ever been sick? You ever needed medicine? Ever needed surgery? Children aren't that much different from us. Children every day have medical needs. Sometimes they need aspirin. Sometimes they need surgery. They need help. I just came back from Ethiopia. I've been to Mexico, I've been to Kenya, I've been to El Salvador. I've been all over the world with Compassion International, watching them care for young people, care for children in Jesus' name. In every place I've gone, I've seen the same things. Children suffering because they don't have basic things that we take for granted. Clean water, aspirin, bandages. I have literally seen children dying from preventable causes, senseless things. Folks, today we can change that. We can change that. You know, for the same price as what we would pay for a music CD, today you can support Compassion's brand new program, Healthy Kids, ensuring that children that are already living in poverty no longer have to do so with the additional obstacles of things like illness, sickness, injury. The cool thing is, today, some of you already have these in your hands. This is a pamphlet that tells you everything that you need to know about the Healthy Kids program. If you don't have one of these, we have some people in the audience today. They're gonna walk through. I don't see them at the moment, but here they come. If you don't have one of these, I want you to raise your hand. We're just going to give these to you. And folks, I want to tell you this. Some of you have sponsored children through Compassion before. This is not child sponsorship, okay? This is a much different thing. This is not sponsoring a child and taking them on from kindergarten through high school, writing them letters. This is simply an opportunity for each of us to provide solid health care for children who are living in desperate situations. This is an opportunity for us to say, for a handful of quarters each week, we're going to make sure that these children have the things that they need, that they can grow up healthy. One of the great things is, if you enroll in this program today, you're going to get a free CD anyway. That's how much, not just me, not just Compassion, that's how much these artists believe in this cause. Artists like Greater Vision, Legacy 5, and God Penrodman that comes later. There's so many of these guys who are here this weekend that have, yes, 40 kids, but they also believe in this new program, Healthy Kids. So it's this simple. You take one of these and you fill it out, bring it to our table or give it to one of our representatives today so that we can start changing this world child by child. Folks, Jesus once said to Peter, they're having this conversation, and in the middle of the conversation, Jesus asks Peter 3 times one question. Peter, do you love me? By the time he had asked Peter a 3rd time, Peter knew he was getting something. Most of you remember how the story goes down. Peter says, Lord, you know all things. I've told you 3 times now that I love you. And Jesus nods, smiles at Peter, and says, if I asked you 100 times, you'd say it 100. Saying and living is 2 different things, Peter. If you love me, feed my sheep. Feed my sheep, Peter. Will you help a child today? Will you help feed his sheep? I believe that Jesus is worth living for because he believed I was worth dying for. Thank you, folks, for considering this. Thank you for letting me speak to you this morning. But right now, we have a special treat for you. Our next person to grace the stage here today is the author of many books, including this latest, Planting Shade Trees.